해볼 게임은 assemble with care라는 게임인데요. 이게 수리하는 게임이라고 해요. 게임의 자세한 정보는 더보기란을 통해서 확인해 보시면 될 것 같고요. 저희는 그러면 게임을 시작을 해볼까요? 고고! 슝!
After a year on the road, I thought I'd get tired of traveling. The endless clatter of railways, highways, and everything in between.
이 친구가 마리아라는 친구인가 봐요. 주인공인가?
But as my train pulled into the station at Bellariva, I felt every bit as excited as the first day of my journey. A whole year. It felt like a lifetime. The places I'd seen, the people I'd met, of course, the forgotten treasures I'd given a new lease of life along the way. I'm a restorer by trade. Bringing our most beloved possessions back to life is what I love to do. I'd been traveling for months, working my way from one town to the next, fixing everything from family heirlooms to VCRs.
약간 되살리는 일이 약간 사람들이 물건을 고치는 약간 그런 일인 것 같죠?
Bellariva was my chance to take a break. Unfortunately, that would have to wait until after I'd unpacked.
그럼 지금부터 약간 시작인 것 같죠? 여행 가방을 집으려면 클릭하십시오. 클릭! 그 다음 글쎄를 열려면 클릭하십시오.
I picked up these sunglasses on my last stop. Hopefully I'm cool enough to pull them off. I saw a guitarist wearing these at a show once. Rock and roll repair woman at your service. My passport. Not many blank pages left now.
빈 페이지가 얼마 없다는 건 여행을 정말 많이 다녔다는 거거든요.
The tools of my trade. No hope of restoring things without these.
아, 이게 약간 수리 도구? 약간 그런 건가 봐요.
My favorite overalls. These will never go out of style. Looking forward to taking more close-ups of my fingers with this. I'll hand these out once I'm settled in. Fingers crossed they get me some work.
완료!
Finally, I'd made it to Bellariva. I'd come for the food festival, taking place in a few days' time. After living off TV dinners and instant ramen for the last few months, I was craving a decent meal. Of course, I'd need to earn enough money to pay for it, so I figured I'd head out the next day and find some work. My parents never wanted me to go. They wanted me to stay in their shop and have a simple, stationary life. I knew there was a world out there, beyond the four walls of our antique store, that I had to be a part of.
단순하고 안정적인 일상. 이거 거의 모든 부모님들이 원하는 거죠. 단순하고 안정적인.
I daydreamed constantly about the weird and wonderful places each of our antiques came from. I loved figuring out their stories, revealing the memories hidden beneath the screws and wires. My story in Bellariva began with a little girl and a voice she was longing to hear.
챕터 1이 끝나고 두 번째 자장가 시작해볼게요.
It was my first morning in Bellariva, and I couldn't wait to leave my hotel and explore. It was a quiet town, its streets and alleyways basking peacefully in the hot morning sun. In the main square, meanwhile, preparations were underway for the festival in a few days' time. As I handed out my flyers, I wondered what the people of Bellariva would need me to fix. So far, everything here seemed perfect. I was starting to worry I'd made a mistake when I felt someone tapping me on the back.
Hi, I'm Izzy. Do you know how to fix things?
이 친구가 이지라는 친구인가 봐요.
It was a little girl, maybe 7 years old, who must have gotten hold of one of my flyers.
7살?
She rummaged around in her backpack until she hauled out a battered red cassette deck.
7살이 되게 성숙해 보이네.
My tape is broken and I can't make it work anymore. I tried to fix it myself, but there's this metal thing in the way. Can you try?
테이프가 고장이 났다고 고쳐달라고 하네요. 복원을 한번 해봅시다. 일단 여러분 이거 소리
Why did you do that?
소리가 우와 이걸 높여야 되나 보다. 돌려.
How did you do that? I didn't see.
됐고.
Still not working. Something else must be wrong.
돌려. 열고.
Aha! Those batteries look like they need replacing. Luckily, I have some spares.
건전지를 빼고 건전지를 넣고 커버를 닫고 나사를 뺑그르르. 그러면 전원이 들어왔어요. 보여요? 그럼 테이프를 넣고 아니야 테이프를 넣고 재생하면
Will you dream
된다!
a dream for me if I sit by your side and hold you so tight?
When it finished, Izzy picked up the tape deck and tucked it carefully into her backpack.
Thanks, Maria. You're the best person at fixing things ever.
No problem.
귀여워.
Who was that singing? They're very good.
It's my mum. She's not here anymore.
Izzy trailed off. It was the kind of silence a cassette tape would never be enough to fill. When Izzy's friends called for her, she dug deep into her pockets, looking for something to pay me with. Eventually, she produced a grand total of a stick of gum, 3 mismatched buttons, and a yo-yo.
귀여워.
I usually preferred a check, but Izzy looked so serious, I wrote out a full receipt. She seemed like a happy kid, but beneath it all, part of her life had been shattered. A part I wouldn't be able to fix.
다음 챕터는 산산조각.
My first repair complete, I spent the rest of the day doing small jobs in and around the square. I was exhausted when I got back to my hotel and found a message asking me to make one more visit. The address led me to a quaint little house, a stone's throw from the beach. Bathed in the evening light, it looked beautiful, in spite of its flaking paintwork and chipped tiles. The front door was opened by a harried-looking man, still dressed from a long day at the office.
Are you Maria? My name's Joseph. I'm Isabel's father.
이사벨이면 아까 그 아이의 아빠인 건가? 아까 이사라고 하지 않았어요? 아이 이름이?
I'm so sorry she bothered you this morning. Please, come in. I'd like to settle up properly.
On the
맞네.
mantelpiece, I saw the remains of a broken statue. Without thinking, I picked up a fragment.
Ah, my father's statue. What's left of it, at least. Yet another way I'd have disappointed him. It survived 100 years in this family. But 5 minutes with Isabel and... Do you think you can salvage it?
해봅시다.
Will you be able to see the glue afterwards? I don't want people seeing the cracks. Sometimes I think my daughter should come with a warning label.
그 다음은 이건가? 쩍쩍쩍쩍.
Is this glue really strong enough to hold everything together?
쪽쪽쪽쪽쪽쪽쪽쪽. 쩝쩝쩝쩝쩝쩝쩝. 완료.
Thank you, Maria. It looks as perfect as it ever did. My father wanted me to make something of myself. He didn't have time for anything less.
As Joseph put the statue back on the shelf, it nudged against the family portrait stood proudly next to it. So he was Bellariva's mayor. And that was Izzy's mom. They must both miss her so much.
Sorry, I'm a little tired. I've been working late getting things sorted for the festival. There's only a few days to go. Looks like I'll be working late. Again?
When I told my parents I wanted to leave, they always found an excuse to be busy, to avoid talking about it. I guess keeping themselves occupied was their way of pretending it wasn't happening. Joseph's work must have been taking up so much of his time. But maybe that was what he wanted. I just hoped he was finding enough time for Izzy, too.
내용이 좀 와닿는다. 다음 챕터는 단절이네요.
My second day in Bellariva dawned bright and clear. Another beautiful sunny morning. Walking into town, I passed cafes overflowing with customers cradling their morning coffees. I stopped, breathing in the smell of roasted coffee beans and freshly baked pastries. I was about to go inside when the owner of Carmen's, the cafe next door, stopped me.
Hello, Maria? Were you here yesterday handing out flyers? I have a job for you.
Her place was petite, tucked between its competitors as if hoping they wouldn't notice. Judging by the empty tables inside, though, her potential customers hadn't noticed it either.
It's a bit slow today, but we're just getting started. I'm sure it'll pick up soon.
As Carmen chatted, She walked over to the counter and returned with an old rotary phone.
At least I've got plenty of time to practice my recipe for the festival. It's a new special I've been working on. I was hoping to call my sister for some, seasoning tips, but it won't connect. Can you see if you can figure out what's wrong?
그러면 전화기를 고쳐봅시다. 돌려,
Obviously, we'd normally be much busier than this.
돌려. 소리 너무 좋다.
You can fix it, can't you? I can't afford to replace it.
이게 고장이 났네. 슝. 에이. 이거 위에 빼지?
These connections aren't quite right. I should check the wiring.
이렇게 빼는 거구나. 이렇게.
Looks like this new circuit board is all hooked up.
슝.
Still a few parts missing.
고정을 해봅시다. 슝. 또르르르르. 됐다. 날려.
When I handed the phone back to Carmen, she seemed almost reluctant to take it from me.
So it's all working now, is it? I don't have to leave it to dry or let it cool down?
Nope, it's ready to go. It'll be ringing off the hook in no time.
That's if I can pay my phone bill anyway. And the rent and the suppliers. Anyway, take a seat and I'll be right with you. Your coffee's on the house.
I sat at one of the empty tables, while at the counter, Carmen had started dialing the phone.
Hello! How's my favourite sister doing today?
As she talked, Carmen became more and more tense. This didn't seem like a call for some cooking advice.
I know I still owe you from last time, but I can't afford to take part in the festival if I don't pay.
I could almost feel the eye roll at the other end of the line.
You don't need to be here, though. Can't you just put the check in the post?
When the call ended, Carmen brought me my coffee, her hands trembling.
Sorry about that. My sister's decided to fly in for a visit. Oh God, I have to get ready. Actually, I might have another job for you. Can you come by tomorrow?
내일도 들려달라는 건가? 다음 챕터는 정초점.
The next day, I'd promised Carmen I'd return to help her get the cafe ready for her sister's arrival. I was about to set out when I received an unexpected call from my hotel's reception desk. Apparently, another guest had asked for me by name. Curious, I took the creaking elevator up to the top floor and made my way to the room number they'd given. I knocked.
Are you here about the camera? It's about time.
헬레나.
The woman in front of me was immaculate. Not a hair out of place or a crease to be seen.
My sister tells me you know how to fix things. I'd usually go to an expert, of course, but in this town...
So this was Carmen's sister? The two of them couldn't have been more different.
아까 수표 보내달라던 그분의 언니인가 봐요.
Inside her room, I saw a beautiful reflex camera. Any professional photographer's dream.
The viewfinder is completely dark. I can't see anything through it at all. I assume you can figure out what's wrong?
카메라를 고치면 되나 봐요. 여기 설명서도 있네. 고쳐봅시다.
I don't suppose you've fixed anything this valuable before.
아, 깨졌구나.
If I used the screwdriver, I could adjust the angle of the mirror.
이게 약간 위쪽으로 돼 있죠, 사선으로. 이렇게.
Perfect. Now the viewfinder should be working.
건전지? 건전지? 아하, 됐다. 아, 건전지가 아니라 필름이구나. 고정을 하고.
Still a few parts missing.
이거를 끼워주면 완료.
I felt a pang of envy as I handed the camera to Helena. I put my disposable to shame.
I picked it up on my first trip to Paris. It's a 1958 limited edition, the first of its kind. It cost me 3 months' salary, but it was worth it.
I had no idea what 3 months' salary meant to Helena, but I was pretty sure it was more than I could afford. It was strange, really, that we were even staying in the same hotel. I'd picked this place because it was cheap and cheerful, but surely she could afford somewhere better? She took some test shots, fiddling with the camera settings until she was absolutely satisfied.
This work is immaculate. At least there's one person in this town who knows what they're doing.
완벽하대요.
Sending you to me might be the first thing Carmen's actually gotten right.
I wondered why Helena had bothered coming if she thought so little of her sister.
I hear nothing from her for weeks, and then when she finally does call me, all she wants is money. If she thinks I'm lending her another penny, she'll have to convince me it's not a total waste of time.
That didn't sound good. If Hurricane Helena was about to hit, I hoped Carmen was ready.
완료. 다음 챕터는 어둠 속에서 전광판 같죠?
The sun was setting over Bellariva by the time I reached Carmen's cafe. From the outside, it looked as quiet as ever, but inside, I found Carmen cleaning like her life depended on it.
Maria! Oh, don't mind all of this. If Helena finds one speck of dust in here, I'll never hear the end of it.
성격이 완전
Carmen seemed
정반대
pleased to
내용이라.
see me, but I sensed the fidgeting tension beneath each sweep of her mop. Trying to live up to the standards of someone like Helena seemed like an impossible task.
I hope you didn't mind fixing the camera for her. She was furious when it broke. I really need this to go well. If she doesn't lend me the money, I don't know how long I can keep this place going.
언니 도움이 필요하구나.
Carmen led me to a back room, where she'd laid out the components of what looked like a neon sign.
I had this made when I first opened the cafe, but I'm hopeless with electronics.
So there was supposed to be a sign outside. This might explain the lack of customers.
간판 없이 일을 했다는 거야? 아니,
I'd like to put it up before Helena gets here. Can you give it a try?
조립해봅시다. 혹시 본드? 야 듬뿍.
I think the whole thing is supposed to light up. I don't know, it's a bit flat. Maybe if it flashes, it'll really catch people's eye.
Great idea! I think I have a spare part that could do that.
본드. 맞는 본드구만. 찹.
I think the whole thing is supposed to light up.
it still needs something else. Maybe we can add one of these.
뭐가 좋을까요? 뭐가 이쁘지? 난 이게 좋아. 아이. 돌려서 본드, 많은 본드 붙이고 이렇게 하고 돌렸어. 꽂고 키면 오, 훨씬 낫구만.
It works! I'll screw everything together again and you'll be set.
돌려서 닫고 슝 슝 완료. 네온 사인.
The sign fixed, we headed outside and mounted it carefully over the cafe door.
That's perfect, Maria. It looks just how I imagined it. When I had this sign made, it all seemed so simple. Oh, I can't believe I might have to give it all up. I hope I've done enough.
The smile froze on her face as she spotted something over my shoulder. I turned to see.
Of course, my sister owns the only cafe in this entire town that isn't
언니가
actually
왔네.
open.
For better or worse, Helena had arrived. Carmen opened her mouth to explain, but Helena swept indifferently past her. Finally pausing in the doorway, she turned back towards Carmen.
The first thing we're doing is getting rid of that hideous sign.
오씨, 방금 고쳤는데.
And with that, she disappeared inside. I hoped Carmen's chances of saving the cafe hadn't disappeared with her.
사이가 너무 안 좋은가 봐요.